The wait is over. The Bitcoin ETFs have been approved, 11 of them. As you can see on the screen, you got a couple that you've probably well heard of, some big monies, right? I personally do not think the inflows are priced in. I think we're going to get a massive amount of inflow, and it's very bullish for most people in crypto right now. If you've been through this bear market of 2022 and most of 2023, certainly if you're in altcoins, well done, you've survived. But realistically, yes, there's still a long way to go for a new cycle to realistically form. Price action has to get to a certain point, where it gets a bit manic and crazy, but this is a catalyst to allow that. This is huge in my opinion, as much as I'm not 100% sure what's going to happen in the future, and I've said this before on my Twitter, feel free to follow me. I think, this is my opinion, this could be the last big cycle. You've got to think control could come into this in the future in terms of Bitcoin's volatility. It might get a little bit less, might mean altcoins are a little bit different, but we've got to think of those inflows, right? When we talk about this going live, and yes, you can see here on a tweet, ETF, the grayscale version, has gone with its first pre-market trades on the New York Stock Exchange. Good start. But what I'm interested in is the inflows. Are we going to see $100 billion worth of monies come through the gates over the course of this calendar year? Now, that's huge. That could be huge. Now, already we've been seeing articles and reports that we could be seeing 2 to 4 billion in one day, the first day, which could create a huge spike. When we talk about this in terms of realistic numbers, that is a lot of Bitcoin. That would indicate that there's going to be a good chunk of money, a good chunk of Bitcoin held as ETFs, which have been taken from other people or money that's already kind of sat there for people to buy, increasing that supply and demand element. Obviously, Bitcoin is going to have a halving this year. The scarcity is going to somewhat improve in a way, and ultimately that supply and demand could create a supply shock if they're going to continuously keep buying over the course of the next coming months, next year or so. They can't just do it all in one hit. They can't. It's impossible because they will affect the price that much. They have to do it slowly. But over time, that could increase the price of Bitcoin. Therefore, leading to what I talked about yesterday in terms of dominance going up, leading to a potential rotation to altcoins, letting them run. And I've also said on my Twitter account, and some people disagree, I think it could be as crazy as 2017, where everything went absolutely manic. The previous cycle was nowhere near as manic as that one. And you got to think of the inflows. If Bitcoin is a certain price, it's going to get very interesting, right? So when we talk about the price action of last night and yesterday, altcoins woke up a little bit. Not massively, not huge enough to kind of really move worlds, but it did drop dominance quite a lot considering what I was talking about the previous day. When we look at that, that is a huge drop. Right, obviously this fib is outdated, but you get the idea in terms of that is quite a big swift move. But the market hasn't opened yet. We're on day one, day zero, you could argue, right? Where the market has not seen that inflow, that volume yet. So approval was market close. We are currently at a point where you're going to be watching this video when the first day happened. So this chart you're seeing on the screen right now may well majorly change in the next coming hours. So we've got to be so careful with that, right? So with me, my opinion, very bullish, because it leads into other things that could breed catalysts. Previous cycle, quantitative easing, we had Tesla, you had all kinds of other bits and pieces that kind of just ran after each other. This year is going to be the same. The ETF is catalyst number one. You've also got halving. You've also got a presidential election at the end of the year too. They're three big things. And also, markets are following that kind of pattern anyways in terms of the past, right? So we may well be looking a year after halving, Bitcoin might be worth a hell of a lot more than what it is today. That is usually what the degree of data tells us. Halving, first 100 days, a little bit sluggish. A year later, usually 3 times the price, which is quite scary. not going to say it's going to go 3x very, very quickly, but over the course of a year, 2 years, you might well find that Bitcoin is not $46,000 anymore. That is an interesting point. But when we talk about inflows, when we talk about monies, monetary value and dollars, and the amount of money that is actually put into these, ETF kind of fronts, BlackRock, etc., they hold a lot of money and their inflows are going to be huge. And we've already seen, weirdly, a bit of a fee war as well. Some of the fees have been cut, which is cool. Bitwise, I believe, are kind of donating 10% of their fees as well to the Bitcoin Development Fund, which is huge, right? Big, big things for the market to continually grow. So, bit of a point to people. If you are new to the space, try and make it count. There will be profit taking happening. There will be a lot of manipulation from a lot of things happening. There will be volatility coming up. But the reality is your main goal is to kind of grow your entire portfolio in the Bitcoin value. You want to try and get as much wealth as you possibly can using altcoins, using Bitcoin, buy low, sell high. This, as I say, as not financial advice, of course, could be the last time we see something majorly crazy happen. Altcoins are on their knees, literally begging for forgiveness right now. Literally, look at the Satoshi pairs, look at some of the USD pairs, have hardly even moved yet. When they do, when the interest is here, when the hype is there, when Bitcoin goes up to a certain level, FOMO and normies will come back. Views on YouTube will increase. Engagement on Twitter will increase. The random questions of stupidness will probably continue and increase because I think the retail aren't here yet. They're not interested. They don't look at Bloomberg. It's not mainstream news that the ETF's been approved yet. What will be mainstream news is when the price goes to a certain point and everyone talks about it, when everything goes crazy, and then it gets interesting. Then they'll be like, oh, there's an ETF. Oh my God, that's crazy. Just wait. Just wait and see what's going to happen over the next coming months. It's going to be very, very interesting to watch. So, as I say, if you've been around for a while, congratulations. If you want more of my content, check out Patreon. If you want to see more educational stuff, I have stuff in the links too for learning crypto. Use this opportunity to learn as much as you can, to profit as much as you can. Because in the next 5 to 10 years, this industry may well be a lot slower than what you're used to. That is the big risk here.